Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with a very special guest, a man who is coming off of yet another submission victory inside the UFC. Don't call him the comeback kid because he's just going to keep doing it, and he's a grown-ass man. If Gerald Meerschaert gets knocked down, he gets back up again. He gets knocked down. He gets up again. You ain't ever going to keep him down. He gets knocked down. He gets up again. You ain't ever going to keep him down. It's GM3, and he wins by submission again. Plus 500 for all you degenerate bettors out there. Gerald, I got to admit, like me. Gerald, I know you don't bet. But come on, man, they priced it at plus 500 again. We deserve Vegas's money, right?
Man, I hope for your guys' sake they keep doing this because I know I'm making a lot of people a lot of money and I'm happy to support the cause, but every time like how am I such a big dog when that's like literally pretty much the only way I win fights. Like,
right?
it'd be one thing if it was by knockout or a decision or something like that, but it's like plus 500 to win by submission. Like if I win, it's going to be by submission.
And it's going to be by a strangle.
Most likely, yes.
You know, and I called rear naked strangle. I just clipped it out of when I posted the dub, I just clipped the rear naked strangle part. You know, I thought you were going to rear naked strangle him, but you know, hey, head and arm choke works. Gerald, you got to mix it up sometimes. You know, I like the rear naked.
Yeah. You know, the position I was in, and I was honestly myself thinking I'd probably find my way to his back too, get the rear naked choke. But, you know, I saw the opportunity. He, zigged when he should have zagged, and I locked up the head arm, and that's a unique way that I like to finish it that I figured he wouldn't expect, and it worked out for me.
I mean, we got to run it all the way back to the beginning of the fight. Let's run back pre-fight. You're fighting Edmen Shahbazyan. There he is underneath us. There he is right there. Edmen Shahbazyan is a striker, and I saw you slamming some big kicks in there, but he was doing well striking with you. Did you have an inkling early on that he could potentially gas out in this fight, or was this something that happened naturally? Because when I was watching, I'm watching you, and he's landing mostly on the arms after he hurt you, you know, and there are some people, Gerald, I'm in the betting world. They're like rigged, you know. They're like the ref should have stepped in. You've seen him in the comment section. I already know you've seen him. These people are silly, but I'm thinking, did Gerald come into this fight thinking that Edmen would get tired and he'd be able to capitalize, or is that something that just happened?
I definitely knew that was an area I wanted to test him in. Obviously, when I did my film study. You look at the Derek Brunson fight, you look at the Anthony Hernandez fight. Those are very telling where like you can just wear on a guy. You know what I mean? Especially someone like Hernandez, whose style isn't all that dissimilar to mine in the sense that like he's not a crazy striker or like a crazy good wrestler, a traditional jiu-jitsu artist. He just kind of wears on people, right? And he throws a lot of volume out there. So not only did I figure that it's a possibility he might gas, I never put all my eggs in one basket though, or expect my opponent to do badly because obviously he also knows that he has that issue. So I was like, maybe he's going to come in the best shape ever. You know what I mean? That's what I planned for. But even if he didn't gas, I know people gas against me because I just don't stop coming. Like my pacing might not look the fastest. I can't really change up the speed and be lightning quick out there, but it's going to be a steady forward pressure the whole time. Once I get going, and second and third rounds, I start wearing on people. You know what I mean? Traditionally, he wins the first round. I figured he'd be tough there, and again, good striking, good distance management. He slid a really nice body shot in there that that shut my liver down for a second. That it's kind of the reaction is kind of like a cramp where like my body seized up and. There's just certain shots, you get hit on the button, on the feet. It doesn't matter how tough you are, you're either going out or your legs give out. And there's certain body shots, just the way it kind of skimmed off, the stomach underneath my floating rib is like, I took body shots before that and I was just fine. But that one, it's almost a good way to think about it is like you ever do rat tail with a towel, like you whip somebody. Like if you're
Yes.
too close, it kind of just hits him and nothing happens. But you get that just right where it's like just kind of skims the edge of it and gets that nice snap. It's kind of the same idea. And like, my organs just kind of wanted to shut down for a second. So it was like, okay, just, I was thinking, I was like, hopefully he's does the smart thing and then just kind of stands up, kicks at my legs or something for a second. I can, let my,
Recover.
not shit myself on national TV and then, get back to my feet and get to work. But he elected to keep punching. And, as crazy as it sounds, when I was down there, I was like, oh, this is great. He's going to tire himself out because I was moving. I was blocking everything. There was a split second where I was like, please, ref, don't stop the fight. But, when he said move, I moved. I blocked everything. Obviously, you can see my face. There's not really any blemishes from the fight to speak of. So
You look club ready, bro.
Yeah, there's obviously nothing was landing of any significance. So, luckily Mark gave me the benefit of the doubt. And, you saw once I sprung back up, I immediately shot a takedown. He shook it off. I shot another takedown. I threw some strikes in there. I landed a couple power shots. I landed an elbow and I shot again. So I was obviously fine. And he wasn't.
Yes. Just because the other fighter keeps punching doesn't mean that you're not responding. I see some people on this lovely internet, which takes every opinion, right? I see some people saying that the referee should have stopped the fight. It's like you ended up winning the fight and you look like you're ready to go to the nightclub. So it's like, what do they want to? They just like just because someone's punching your shoulder and your arm, even though you're responding, they want to stop. I don't understand what these people want or what kind of sport they're looking at. I absolutely think that the referee did a fantastic job. I'm sure you agree. And I saw what you just said, where the ref is telling you, I need to see something. I need you to move, and you were moving and you were consistently moving. Now, my question is, I have no problem with that, especially since I had a bunch of money on you. My question is, when you were blocking and going into the legs and shooting, were you thinking, be honest with me, were you thinking this guy's going to get tired?
Oh, when I was like, yeah, like I just said, when he started like going for the TKO, I was like, this is perfect. He's going to tire himself out. Because I was like, none of these are getting through. I think maybe one punch got through and like hit me like right on the forehead, but that's nothing. And I could see everything. I was blocking everything. The optics weren't the best because it was like I had to defend first, right? Not get knocked out. And then, I try to go up to a leg, but he did a good job sprawling. So I was like, okay, go back to my back, get the feet in the hips. Maybe I can push away. So it's just that back and forth game of either you're going to let me get a hold of that leg good so I can scramble for a takedown to get on top, or you're going to sprawl so hard that eventually I'm going to get a hold of you, get to my guard, and then start to work. And eventually I got to my guard, tied up the hands. You know what I mean? He started slowing down. And especially when I sprang up and I could see the body language and I knew how much effort he put into that sequence, I was like, I'm just going to start spamming takedowns. Like, you're not going to keep up with this pace anymore. Like, I don't, at that point too, it was like almost halfway or more than halfway through the second round. I'd be down 2 rounds anyway. So it's like, there's no reason to hold anything back. If he throws something and I get clipped, but it's go time now.
Well, and if he throws something now, it's not going to have as much sting on it. Yeah,
Right.
you're such a veteran. I mean, this is another reason why I thought you would win this fight, Gerald, is you are such a veteran at this point. I think your skills are better than ever, and your ability to, stay mindful in there, to find a way to win is just better than ever, Gerald. So I loved the call out of Paul Craig. You and the Bear Jew in Tampa. Is that the move?
I'm trying. Dana White responded, I think, positively to that online on Instagram. I tagged him in it, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully, at least get on the card with a opponent. But if it's Tampa and Paul Craig would be perfect.
So you want Tampa in December?
Yes, absolutely. I'd like to get 3 in this year. Tampa's pretty close to where I am right now, so I can just drive right across Florida and be there and stay warm, stay in a tax-free state for the last one for the year. So that'd be all good things.
Well, they didn't get you in Vegas, right? You're all good fighting in
No,
Vegas.
I want to keep the train rolling. So if I'm, and that's the thing. If I'm not at the apex of the T-Mobile, Texas, Tennessee, Florida, those are all great places to fight.
Quit taking GM3's taxes. He's got a toddler, you bastards. Let him have his fucking fight money. Okay, got you. Well, I hope you get the Bear Jew fight. I mean, one thing on that fight, it's going to be hard to submit Paul Craig, no?
Yeah, I mean, I'll find out. If it all gets said and done, we'll find out. Luckily, my submission prowess generally doesn't rely on being a strict grappler. I usually punch people in the face a little bit beforehand. So we'll see if softening them up a little bit helps.
I see. I like it. I saw that the new champ, DDP, Drickus, Duplessis, gave you some love, gave you a shout out. You got any words for the new champ?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. That was great. And I was showing love too, I guess, in my pre-fight interviews for the media day, because everybody was, wanted to know. It's like, oh, is unorthodox style, or however they want to say. And I keep telling everyone, I'm like, look, man, just because you think fighting should look a certain way, that doesn't matter. What matters is how effective is it, and the guy's effective. So anytime you get someone that knows what they're talking about and is a good fighter, game recognizes game. So I appreciate it.
Hell yeah, man. The division seems to be wide open right now. There seems to be a lot of movement. I hope with a Paul Craig win, you could start getting some even bigger fights. Paul Craig's a big fight. That's cool. That was a good. How long have you been thinking about that one?
I've had that in the back pocket for a little bit, but I had to get my cards lined up right before I use that one. I feel like I cashed it at the right time, so hopefully it'll come through for me.
You cashed it at the perfect time, man. You got good timing, Gerald. Gerald, you remember our first interview? It was in Wisconsin.
Way back.
way back.
Yeah.
And so I got to see this whole UFC run you've been on. Dude, I'm so impressed. You're such a gangster. Balls of steel, all right? The Man of Steel is Superman. Gerald's balls of steel, okay? He is tough as it gets. My man's made out of leather. And just super impressed with what you've been able to do. When you sent me that message, you're like, I'm on Eastern time, bro. I'm like, oh yeah, he's a Florida man now.
Yeah,
Gerald,
yeah, it's a little bit different now.
Gerald, I hope you take it as a compliment. You fit perfectly as a Florida man.
Yeah, I'm trying to assimilate. I got my little Florida shirt on right now. I got the Miami Vice mustache. I think I'm blending in pretty well.
Yes, keep winning, Gerald. I'm always rooting for you, man. Listen, folks, if Vegas wants to keep giving us crazy plus money on Gerald Meerschaert's submission, we'll keep taking it all day. I really appreciate you coming on the show. Gerald, anything in parting to all the folks who bet on you on Saturday?
Hey, man, appreciate you guys. Let's keep that gravy train rolling.
We're keeping the train rolling, and the train's name is GM3, the toughest SOB in a game full of tough guys. Gerald, you have a fucking awesome day, dude. Thank you for coming by.
Hey, you too, Mike. I appreciate you.